Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gamesline podcast. It's me, John. I'm back from my hiatus. It has been like a month and a half since I've been on a podcast. I was banished. I was told
from the Heroes Party.
Yeah, I was banished from the Heroes Party, and I didn't become a baker or start up a shop or create a new party that's like all hot elves or whatever else happens in all those shows. Instead, I just kind of tried to relax and played card games, and I actually did game quite a bit, which is nice. Which was nice. But yes, I'm here, John. I'm the host. I'm the guy who runs the Gamesline website, and I'm back. So I'm happy to be back to talk about games and to do all this stuff again. Joining me this time is Rose. Hello, Rose. How are you?
Hi, it's me. I'm A-OK. There's no construction today, which is quite nice.
That is nice. I am glad to hear that, and I can only hope that becomes a more common factor.
The end is in sight, hopefully.
Wonderful to hear. So I missed quite a bit, but we're not gonna dwell on old news and the like, and I don't want us to sit here for 300 hours talking about stuff that's A, either been already talked to death, or B, I don't know, we don't really add too much to it. So we have our news section, and we've also been gaming. I'm gonna say let's just hop in, start chatting about the news, unless there's anything else you want to discuss.
No, that sounds good to me.
All right. Well, then first off here, we've got two Nintendo bits of news. One of them is just frustrating, and the other one is dumb, and I think people are being kind of crazy about it, but also it's bad in a different way. I don't know. So
that's Nintendo.
We'll start off with the pretty basic bad news here. The Switch 2 is going up in price, as everyone guessed. Much like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox and everything else went up in price because of the tariffs and the Iran war and every single other stupid-ass thing that Trump keeps doing. You will now have to pay $500 or $499.99 in the US, or $499 or $499.99 euros in Europe,
which is always so fucked when they do that.
Yeah, which I mean, God, I this feels so American centric, but when I'm saying dollars, that feels like the American, would you just say 499 euros and 99 cents? How do you say that? I don't know.
It would be I don't actually know. That's a great point. I almost said pence, and that's not fucking true.
Yeah. I
assume it would be probably just percentile euro, right?
99% euro. There's got to be, I'm going to look this up right now.
It's called a euro cent.
A euro cent?
Yeah.
Huh. Well.
So.
I'm sorry.
That just feels like, well, fuck you. That's like the fantasy writer ran out of ideas when they moved to the new continent.
Yeah, I mean, well, there you go. Yeah, you're going to have to spend 499 euros and 99 euro cents on your Switch 2. That will start September 1st. So fortunately, you do have some time. This isn't like how PlayStation and Xbox were like, hey, you have 3 days. You do have a few months to get a Switch 2 for about $50 less than it will be in September, which it's still kind of a hard sell. Even as someone who has a Switch 2 and does really like it, I think you have to kind of be a specific kind of person to want to hop on that. But I also kind of feel like if you're the kind of person who would want to hop on it, then I think maybe there are enough things on there for you now, just because Donkey Kong's really good, Kirby Air Riders is really good, Pokopia is really good.
Backwards compatibility, right?
It's got the backwards compatibility that bumps some stuff up, like Pokemon and other stuff like that.
Because that's the main reason I got the PS5 to some extent, was it was hey, I'm hitting performance issues in FF14 and a bunch of other games that are well, this will make it easier.
Right. I mean, the only thing that was a big problem was Pokemon, and that is completely fixed. So
Yeah.
we'll see how the like future shakes out for the Switch 2. I mean, I guess we do know one thing that's coming up, but we'll get there. But I would say, yeah, if you're interested, hop on sooner than later, because yeah, 500 instead of 450 is a pretty big leap. I think there's going to be some kind of Pokopia bundle soonish, at least in Europe. So, and I don't know if that'll be after September 1st. So if it is before, I would probably say just hop on that, because Pokopia is a $70 game, and they usually are, like I think they charge like $500 for those anyway. So you're basically buying the console and the game at a discount. So if they're doing that for before September 1st, I would say absolutely hop on that if you want to get a Switch 2. But also, if not, you're not missing anything too crazy yet. But, there's still really good stuff on there. It's just, you should know by now if it interests you, I think. I think we're at that point where it's like, yeah, you will know yourself if you think it's worth it or not. But I guess to sort of to grease the wheels here, to make everybody want a Switch 2. The latest the latest Switch 2 exclusive game was announced. There was a Star Fox Direct on the 6th, and this was just dropped. They all of a sudden went, hey, we're gonna have a Star Fox Direct in like 20 minutes. Everyone go watch it. And everyone was just like, what, huh? And yeah, they released a 15-minute long direct here, and it is the announcement of another remake of Star Fox 64.
Yay!
Which, if you think about it, is kind of a remake of Star Fox 1 on the Super Nintendo. So they have basically made the same game 3 times now in a row. Well, not in a row, but 3 times.
And there's also Star Fox 64 DS, 3DS.
Exactly. So yeah, this is like the 3rd time that they've done this, which I mean, like, it's the 3rd time that they've done Star Fox 64. And then it's like, also, it can be kind of argued that this is the 3rd time they've remade Star Fox 1. So yeah, not very exciting. Like, the thing is, Star Fox 64 is a really good game. Like, don't get me wrong, it's awesome.
But also, it's a very good game in 1999 specifically, right? Like,
exactly.
And not to discredit it still being good, just
it's really good.
In terms of contemporary comparison points, it's like, I mean, how do I put this? Look at something like Doom in the Dark Ages, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's a very good game, but at the same time, it has these sequences that are basically Star Fox 64, where you fly around on the dragon or whatever,
mm-hmm.
and that's just a mini game aspect of a larger game. Like, the problem is, like, I think games can be simplistic, but I think we are reaching a point where it's like, especially for your big console gangbusters, it's like, can you really get away with the simplicity of Star Fox 64?
I know people keep posting that they want shorter games that are more expensive, etc., but like Star Fox 64 is like a 45-minute long game. Like, it's a really good
the alternate route where Andros doesn't die and instead
like it's you can get more out of it. Absolutely.
But you could also get like Hellsinker for $10 on Steam.
Or you could also, if you have Switch Online,
play Star Fox 64.
You don't even need a Switch 2. You could just play Star Fox 64 on that, and it's going to be the exact same game. It's just not going to look like it does, which that's also a thing that people are arguing about. And I will just say, I think everyone saying that the characters look like shit in this remake is fucking insane. Like, they made them extremely like animal based. Like, they made them look like the actual animals with, some like cuteness to them.
But John,
it's like
they don't
looks
look
like a fox.
Crystal does in the porn game. So,
well, they need to get used to it. Everyone needs to get used to it. Like, I don't know. It's really funny because it's like, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, you can't speak for everybody, because I was going to say, like, you would think that the furries would be happy that things are more animal like, they have the like, like Fox has got like the legs like a fox does, and Falco's actually got bird feet with talons now, and it looks cool. Like, I really think it looks cool. And you would just be like, oh, you would think furries would be into that, but then it's like, you think about, like, furries have such like different tastes. That's almost like being like,
every furry's gonna feel differently.
I mean, it's almost like being like, oh, the person that's into human women, you'd think that they would be into this, where it's like, no, like, not 100%. So yeah, it's just different tastes and all that. I get it, but I do think that, like, people just being completely against something like this is kind of silly, just because it's a different take, and I think it's really cool that they're swinging for something that looks, way more animalistic, and they're having some fun with it for sure. Like, the art is it is really nice. I will say. The thing that I just said when I saw this is, I was like, well, I will enjoy seeing these designs in Smash 6. Like, I can't wait to play as Falco.
You sicko.
Yeah. I can't wait to see Falco with his cool talons now in Smash 6. I don't know. This isn't me talking about any rumors. I'm just saying, in general, if it were to happen, okay? This is just me being general about Smash Brothers. I'm not... The evil hasn't entered my soul yet, all right? I promise. Your silence speaks volumes, Rose. I'm sorry. Okay. But really, yeah, it's just... It's lame. Like, I would love for them to make an actual, like, new Star Fox thing.
Like, I'm not a huge Star Fox fan, broadly. Like, I have never been,
but still,
that big into it. Like, I unironically, despite I feel like its mimetic nature, I'm someone who goes like, I would rather play something like Star Fox Adventures because I'm fucking insane. But I imagine a better version of that. To be clear, not the actual thing again. I think my only real problem with this is that, like, it doesn't feel like they're so Miyamoto ruined Star Fox Zero, right? We know this. He's the worst motherfucker on earth. And there's this, like, thing of, like, that game has a lot of issues, but it was at least trying to reimagine a lot of stuff. It would have been better if it was the way the original director intended, but that's just my opinion as a Bayonetta 2 lover. But, like, you had that, and it's the stupid-ass Five Nights at Freddy's game, and that's at least something. This is, like, I feel like it's really Nintendo keying into what the other console publishers have been doing recently, which is the most boring ass remake that is taking for granted the idea that you think graphic look good and that matters, which is really crazy to do right now, because we are reaching this era where I think specifically the proliferation of indie games have made people care about graphics less than ever. Like, straight up. Like, look at even not an indie game, but I mean, kind of is, because it's co-opting it, but like Roblox games, right? Super popular. Looks like complete shit. Looks so bad. Looks awful all the time. Look at something like Deltarune. It's utilizing the old school stuff. It's super popular, but it is stylistic. It is taking advantage of an aesthetic and ideas. Whereas I look at this new Star Fox and it's like, yes, they have ideas, but ultimately they are reaching into that same pool that something like, hey, what makes Uncharted 4 better than Uncharted 1? It's Nathan Drake has better hair. There is gravel that looks real. And that's what I see when I look at this map. And it's like, what does that mean for the game, though? And it's like, nothing, right?
Yeah, like, I'm speaking directly for, like, the art direction about the character designs. Like, I could take or leave how pretty the planets are when you're, racing by them and barely even looking at them because you're trying to focus on shooting from your plane, like... but when I see these cute designs for these characters, it's like, no, because I see them longer than I'm gonna see whatever background it is or whatever, like if you're gonna put effort into that, then yeah, put effort into that. Like, there's little things that they were doing in the background that were cool, like someone pointed out, because they made a new cutscene of when the original Star Fox team, like James, Peppy, and Pigma, when James went missing on Venom, like, they showed that he had, like, Fox put, like young Fox put, like, a little bunch of little paw prints on the R-Wing, like, oh, like, my son's little paw prints on my plane, like, that's cute. And that's, like, the kind of details that, you might not be able to have done back in the day, but and that's kind of worth it. But when it's just like, all right, well, everybody, you're gonna have to spend $60 on a remake of this game because we decided we needed the backgrounds needed individual trees, which again you're not gonna see. It's like that doesn't matter, Like it's whatever. Again, it's especially just because it's just another remake of this game when, yeah, you can very easily play this exact game on Switch Online, or let me see how much a copy of Star Fox 64, if you want to get it for N64. I mean, you'd have to buy an N64 as well. But I mean, loose Star Fox 64 is like $30. So for half off for that, you can buy a loose copy of Star Fox 64.
All right, you could emulate it on your fucking phone from 2009.
Or you could emulate it. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to. This isn't me being like, fuck emulation. It's just like, if you want to, for whatever reason, if you want to
mainstream, whatever,
yeah. Or it's just emulate it on whatever. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a decompilation even too. So there's like ways to play it really well on your PC. I'm gonna check that right now because there was, there is. So there you go. There's a Star Fox 64 recomp out there if you want to look into that.
I want to play that Twilight Princess one, but there's too much stuff to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is something that did just come out recently too. Is that the Twilight Princess got a
it has achievements, like
a recomp with achievements. Yeah, they do. Is it just the what's on retro achievements, or did they make new achievements?
I believe they made their own curated list.
That's pretty good. I mean, yeah, like they did just release. I mean, they've had GameCube achievements for a while. I don't know if they made a separate batch for the Wii, because the Wii just launched on retro achievements.
Based on how retro achievement works, they probably made a separate one because they're fucking insane. That's what I've You'll find this is X version on the Genesis versus X version on the NES, and they have different ones, and it's like, okay.
I'm looking, and they did. So yes,
great,
excellent stuff. Very, very, very happy to see that. I mean, I'm sure that there's different things that you would do playing with the remote and all that, but yeah. I love, just to go on a small tangent, I love going on retro achievements and looking at whatever new stuff gets achievements, because there's always just insane shit.
It's just a game you have never heard of in your life, and it's like, whoa.
You can get achievements right now for Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius on Game Boy Advance.
My exact example is going to be, I know a while ago I was looking and they were just like, hey, we added them for rocket power for the GBA, and I was like, okay.
I mean, the thing is for somebody, that's hits. Nostalgic, and it's cool and all, but also it's just I don't know, wait. You're gonna go back to this game, you're gonna play it for 5 minutes, you're gonna get 2 achievements because they're just gonna be extremely easy achievements, and then you're gonna go ugh, and then you're never gonna play it again, and then you're gonna look at your retro achievements profile and you're gonna see those 2 achievements and you're gonna be upset about it. That's just what's gonna happen. Which is how it should be, honestly. I think that's an important part of life, is to do that. But yeah, not very excited about Star Fox on Switch 2. This is also one of those games that's going to be quote unquote cheaper digitally as well. I think it's going to be $60 physically and $50 digitally, but I guess Walmart and Amazon are just price matching the digital anyway, so it's basically just $50 anyway. So just, I guess if you're going to get it, just, I mean, I wouldn't say get it from Walmart or whatever, wherever you can price match. I mean, some other retailers will just price match Walmart, I guess. So just try to price match that.
I want to make an earnest plea to all the people out there who have only played Star Fox or something like 64, and they're like, oh yes, I'd love to play that again. But there are a few Panzer Dragoon games you could try. You could try Panzer Dragoon. It's pretty cool.
Let me tell you about a little game called Space Harrier.
Oh man, we watched Arino Game Center CX play Space Harrier recently, and
it's one of the all-timers.
That's one of the all-timers. It was seeing him play the Sega 3-1. That's a dire port. That is one of the most. It was I loved watching. He was like, "Oh, this one's probably easier, right? Because it's older." And then he plays that for a little bit, and he's like, "I can't. do it anymore. I can't. And then it feels like he jumped 10 years into the future playing the other one. Like,
yeah, the Mark
holy
III is
shit.
rough. It's weird. That is such a weird
It has like the
console.
worst controller ever.
Yeah.
You put on the stick.
If they didn't jump to the Genesis as quickly as they did, Sega would have been gone way
They would have
earlier.
been done for.
But yeah, I mean, I did also see, you know, like, and I think it's kind of lame when people come in and be all, hey, instead of playing the big AAA game, you should play my indie game. But like, I also kind of get it. But, you know, don't just be proud of what you're making. Don't come in only when you
Don't say
talk
I've
over
got the
somebody,
value
you know?
store version. Come on in.
Exactly. But I did see some pretty neat looking like indie game Star Fox things, especially because like people were just like, hey, yeah, I wanted to make a Star Fox spiritual successor and I started working on it ages ago, and here it is, you know, like check out this thing that I've been working on, you know, like that's cool.
There was a game that was like Space Harrier and Star Fox X Zodiac, that's what it's called. I just remembered.
Okay.
That seemed pretty cool. I know that was a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it? I'm looking it up. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you play
Good
as
to
an
know.
anime woman.
Well, there you go. All right, let's see here. Our next bit of news here is some potentially good news. We're you know, rooting for you from the sidelines here. We've got some unionization updates. Double Fine announced that they are unionizing, and based on previous, you know, like Microsoft adjacent unions and the like, there's a good chance that their unionization will go through, but there have been some, you know, in this article by Aftermath did point out that like a lot of the other like Activision and ZeniMax studios that unionized have only a few of them have gotten their contracts ratified just because Microsoft is like dragging their feet, and you know, it's not like it's, you know, we're full on saying no. It's more just like they're just like kind of ignoring it and, you know, making it more difficult, and that's, you know, a shame in of itself. But you know, the unions are unionization is going to be a rough hill to go up, and you know, but it's a journey worth taking, and I am happy to see Double Fine making that step. They are a big ol' classic asset who deserves to have their say in their negotiations for their pay and their amenities and all that. So good luck to them. Do you have anything to say about that?
Just the Magic the Gathering one is specifically like the way that it's like they were trying to get everyone to go to an office is crazy. Like
that's next here. So the Magic the Gathering arena developers.
Sorry to jump in.
You're good. You're good.
To not jump ahead then. Let me say, Double Fine, I've been worried for them for quite some time. I'm someone who used to play a bunch of their games. I don't think they haven't made anything that's like crazy good. I know a lot of people like Psychonauts 2. I did not play that one, but like I'm someone who did enjoy something like Brutal Legend or Stacking or whatever, you know, back in the day. And it's this thing of like, once they got bought by Microsoft, it was like, oh, but then it's like, they seem to have been doing fine, although I feel like they're one of those people that suffer more than anything from the unintentional or unfortunate, I should say, side effects of something like BDS boycotts for Microsoft, where it's like, is Keeper being boycotted really affecting them? I don't know, but it's like you have to maintain that level of solidarity. So it's like, you know, it's this frustrating thing of, it's like, I don't know anyone who played Keeper, you know, as an example. The Lighthouse game they made recently. I remember Jeff Gerstmann talking about it and saying that it was really cool. And it's like, I absolutely believe Jeff, and I would be happy to hop on it. But it's like, you know, and this isn't me saying like, fuck Jeff completely, but also like, you know, he's playing Call of Duty and stuff. He's not like adhering to boycotts and stuff. So yeah. Which, I mean, that's his call. You know, I'm not gonna tell him to fuck off or whatever. But again, like, it's just like the fact that something like that is, you know, that you have to hold Keeper to the same, I guess, standard almost as Call of fucking Duty. It's like it feels weird. It feels really weird.
Like it's right, but it's also just like weird.
Yeah, but I feel like they have enough of a stable base, and from everything I know of, Tim Schafer and the other leads at that studio, they are people who care about the workers being there.
Yeah.
And aren't just going to like drop them all because they can. Like these are people who are going to fight at meetings, right? Like they're not going to just roll over.
Totally. I mean, like they had like stories a bit ago about like having to kind of butt heads with Microsoft. I mean, there was all those. I think it was
the Psychonauts documentary stuff.
Yeah,
right?
the Psychonauts documentary of them like arguing with Matt Booty and all that, and it's like, yeah, unionization will absolutely help them keep them from having to do stuff like that again. Like just being like, no, like we're gonna stand and make what we want to make, and that'll be how they make good stuff again.
Yeah.
And yes, the second thing here is the developers of Magic the Gathering Arena, who they are also attempting to unionize, also through the Communications Workers of America. This is the first union effort within Wizards, which that's a big deal. And a big reason why they're doing this, I mean, it's not the entire reason, but a big reason is that basically the entire team, I think the entire team is remote, right? Or at the very least, like most of it.
Basically the entire team, yes. I would say outside of people who would be at corporate proper.
Right. And Hasbro just randomly went, we need you all to start working in the office. And these are, again, people who are living all around the country, and they're basically just like, I don't know if this is 100% what they're trying to do, but I would not be surprised if they are just trying to do some kind of like soft layoff thing where they're just going, well, y'all can't move back over here, so we're just going to fire you and hire somebody else who lives here. Like, it just...
I bet it's a part of that, and I can tell you what the second part is. They think about what Magic the Gathering is like right now, and how it's all collaborations with perhaps people who have very firm grasps on their IPs and are very annoying and weird to deal with. Okay.
Yeah.
Now imagine you're a stupid executive who doesn't know how anything works, and you see that something in the pipeline has been delayed because it has to be sent around in a very specific way, and everyone is separated everywhere. And instead, you could just keep it within a flat location, like it was in the 2000s, and then. Like that's one of the reasons I think is they're probably just so crossover brained and everything, and Disney's insane. Like they're doing Marvel stuff, right? They're doing all this other whatever that it's
the thing with the Marvel stuff, like I don't know what they're gonna do in the future, but I do know that because the first Marvel thing they did was Spider-Man, which people really hated that Spider-Man set for a lot of reasons, but when they brought it to Arena, it's not even Spider-Man. They don't have they reskinned every card to be in universe, but they haven't done that for anything else. It's just they totally just did that because Marvel probably didn't want Spider-Man cards in a digital card game because they have Marvel Snap.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like the vibe I always get is that there is this energy of they don't know, the people working on this game are coding these cards, they're doing all the work, but they don't know when they're actually allowed to make it X or Y thing until the last moment, right?
That makes sense to me, especially if because I'd have to imagine that the develop because there's so many cards coming out. I have to imagine that the people that are creating the effects for these cards are just like, I came up with all these concepts for these effects, and we can slot this in here and slot this in here, or here's my ideas for some stuff for these Marvel characters, and then if they don't get taken, then we can shift that over to the next set that's in universe or something like that. So some of those developers are probably like, hey, here's a Wolverine concept, and then Marvel for whatever reason says no, make it do something else. Then they're like, all right, well, the next set there's just going to be like a guy who can regenerate. Like it's just.
To be clear,
I feel really bad about that.
Yeah, I don't think I obviously think that this is really just the fault of people who are higher up making these deals and stuff on not making better contracts that reflect the needs of the actual labor that goes into all this stuff, and instead going, hey, 100%. Yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want, I don't care.
Hmm. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating, and a lot of people are frustrated with MTG, how it is being run, but apparently they've been growing more and more. Like, I guess MTG is like, I think it's like the one thing that's making Hasbro money consistently right now. It's like, it's just that, because I mean, like, I have, and
Well, and
I am
tabletop stuff, right?
I am well aware of what's going on in the Transformers community, and yeah, apparently Transformers is not making them a lot of money, even though they're making quite a lot of robots for sure. And I mean, they're also, doing like Marvel Legends and all that, but I think that's, they're probably, with Disney like skimming so much off of that, they're, probably not making a ton of money off of that. But I don't know, because yeah, I think like the Final Fantasy set was like the best-selling Magic set ever, or something like that. Like, I think the Lord of the Rings one was also up there, but that was more because of the chase card. But the Final Fantasy cards were really cool. I'm not gonna say like poo-poo to that. They, like, the designers of Magic the Gathering are really good at creating effects and applying those sorts of effects to characters and all that. And when it's like a fantasy thing, that I think still works. Like when they did Final Fantasy, when they've done Lord of the Rings, and they're going to do The Hobbit, I think, next. And I'm trying to think of what other like fantasy stuff. I mean, like they did like 40K. I think 40K was like okay. Like, I think that's like the limit there. But it's like fucking Doctor Who characters look bizarre. Spider-Man was just really, really poorly like implemented. That Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff was also really awkward. Like, whenever they do something that's not traditional fantasy, it bounces off, I feel like. And they're gonna keep doing it because it keeps making money. Like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fans are gonna be like, I wanna get a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle card. They, if that's what they're thinking about. It's not the gameplay, and it makes the gameplay suffer. Okay, again, I'm going off about cards, but just something else that I saw some people talking about, like the Tellurian Community College guy. Every time I watch one of his videos, I feel so bad because he always makes really good points, and it's always just him being like, here's another way that this game that I love with all of my heart is being very frustrating right now and makes me want to stop playing. Is like, if you're playing Pauper, which is supposed to be just commons, and it's supposed to be the cheapest way to play the game, you now have to spend like hundreds of dollars on stuff because they're putting common printings of new cards in like exclusive sets. Like, they're like, yeah, there's this really good card that's controlling, like, one of the best cards in Pauper right now is like some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles card that is in a limited set, but because it was printed as a common, it's Pauper legal, but it's an incredible card, so like people are chasing after it, and it's like $40 a pop. And these are supposed to be like decks. Like a few years ago, Pauper was like, yeah, you could buy a complete deck for like $10, and now it's like, no, yeah, you're gonna have to spend hundreds of dollars on this, just like you're gonna have to spend hundreds of dollars on everything else in Magic. It's just I feel extremely bad for that entire community. It's not right what they're doing to your game. It really is. And I hope that this is the first step towards MTG improving overall. Like, because it's a great game. Like, it's not my favorite. I don't care too much for MTG, but like, I respect it, and I don't want it to be bad. I would like, I want it to succeed, so the other things around it can also be pushed to succeed, as in a sense. I mean, I know that the capitalist competition doesn't really make things better, but the way things are now, I would like MTG to just be better for the sake of the trading card games in general.
I agree, as someone who knows nothing about card games.
All right, let's see here. We have our last bit of news here. Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. The last bit of news here is the dumbest. God, Build a Rocket Boy, the worst developer name of all time, still, I think, has laid off 170 employees, which, obviously people losing their jobs is bad, but I kind of think that maybe at a certain point you're kind of getting shoved off a sinking ship. So, maybe it's for the best. Because they also just released their big DLC that is supposed to tell the story of what happened during the development of Mind's Eye. I mean, you have you seen this DLC? Did you see gameplay of it?
It's incredible stuff.
It's incredible. Do you wish to speak on what happens in this DLC?
I mean, how do I even start?
It's not much.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know where to start with this one, honestly. So, first of all, obviously it was supposed to be the Hitman collaboration. I think it's pretty obvious going in that this is their canceled Hitman collaboration that they have replaced with like an OC woman.
Yes. It's extremely basic. Like, it's so obvious that they had to hastily slap something else together because IO pulled out of being their publisher.
You just do insane things in that. It's like, so yeah, you play as this woman who like has nothing to do with anything, obviously.
Some random lady.
Just some random lady. And so I don't just say things. Let me find a good summary of it.
Of course.
Real quick, just so that I don't just say things. Okay. So, yeah, you play as a spy and you go to like a Las Vegas style town to assassinate people, which is clearly Hitman, right? Like, that's the thing. And then it's like you just go to like 4 different places and just kill people nonstop because that's Mind's Eye gameplay, right? You just shoot people. It's supposed to be like GTA, whatever. But then it's like you like grab like games journalists who are evil.
It's barely even that. Like, there's one point where there's like they like mention that some guy's a streamer, I think. Yeah. And you kill him because,
and they say like he's doing it to push designer drugs or whatever, like, and everything. And then they use the real name of that company that they kept saying was responsible for everything. Is it Cultic Entertainment or something? Ritual Network, that's what it is.
Yeah, they're like they're a network of ritual creators or like ritual leaders. Like they're like, it's so obvious that they're just trying to like underhandedly talk shit about these people, and it's like the entire time it's just like it's that drill. I am your lawyer and I need you to keep posting this shit. Like it's so fucking funny.
And it's just like, so in the result of this DLC, they have laid off a lot of people. I highly recommend looking up, I know we talked about it here, but look up the Insane Crash Out interview with that guy, the head of Mind's Eye studio, Build the Rocket Boy, which is still one of the worst names I have seen for a company. It's right up there with, not People Who Fly, but,
People Can Fly. Yeah.
People Can Fly is like a fine name. That's normal.
Okay.
There was some name that's like that. Whatever. Anyway, bad name. Bad. Mind's Eye is fascinating. Like, just as a game, so I'm always thinking about how they make you play as that guy in the free roam mode. That's just like that guy wearing like light blue and pink and like has like his stomach showing and he has like a horrible old man beard and
it's incredible stuff. They made a great effort to not do anything worth a damn. Or no, they didn't make a great effort. If they did, maybe people would care. But it's just, it's just extreme mismanagement and probably poor funding and just thinking that you can make something on par as Grand Theft Auto without that level of freedom. Like, say what you will about GTA, and you probably will, but the reason why those games can be as polished and as big as possible is because they are already, they are guaranteed to sell so much that they can take their time to do all this stuff and they can polish it
Can
forever.
also use the prestige of their brand to track people inside of an office for hours at a time, forever.
That too. And then when you're just like, hey, I used to work on this thing and I don't anymore, and you're just trying to sway things that way, it's not going to work, because it's not going to, like, you're not going to be able to sell as much off of from the creators of GTA without it being a new GTA. It's just no. It's just no. So bad game, hilarious DLC. Yeah, because like another thing that keeps happening too is like you'll go to an area and you'll kill somebody and then you'll like disguise yourself as them, and there are multiple instances where it's like, oh yeah, no, here's this like male DJ that you're supposed to be. Like I think one of the characters is just basically Deadmau5 for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just like put on his helmet that is like a Deadmau5 parody helmet. And again, like everyone knows that this is supposed to be a male DJ, and you're just like titty lady with your baps out wearing your Deadmau5 helmet, and everyone's just like, Deadmau5, my favorite male DJ who does not have breasts. Come on into my child's party. Like it's insane. Like, cause yeah, like it's obviously supposed to be like, Agent 47, but Agent 47 isn't a sexy lady spy, so that, and even then, like, that, they kind of play that off as a joke at times, too, and this is not, they are not trying to play this off as a joke at all, so it does not work whatsoever. It's just, yeah, they have no sense of humor about it, they have no idea that this is just them shooting themselves in the foot and looking like fucking morons, and like I said, just, it's bad that people are losing their jobs, but also, like, if you're still working there, I don't know. To figure something out, please. Find a way out. Get out of there, please. Let's talk about what we've been playing. It's been Capcom season. It's been fucking Capcom season. Oh my god. Most of the stuff we've been playing is Capcom stuff. That's crazy. We could start off with talking about the stuff that we both, the thing that we both played. Pragmata.
Yeah.
I finished that. Did you finish Pragmata?
Nope. As is many cases with the games I play, it is tied to, similar to how you played Resident Evil 9 for roommates, I am playing Pragmata for my girlfriend Ari. So I'm very slow going. I have only just finished the New York City part.
Okay, yeah. I still haven't finished RE9, so there you go.
So you understand.
Yes. But I did finish Pragmata, and I do really like it. I think that it's a simple, quick little thing that builds on gameplay very well. It pushes itself to the exact limit that it needs to. It doesn't like overextend itself. It ends right when it feels like it needs to. It gives you some extra stuff that you can do, but other than that, it's just like, hey, here's this fun adventure with these two characters that work really well together, and this cool concept for a world, and it nails it. I would absolutely say it nails it. Fantastic gameplay all around. Every time I got a new weapon or a new upgrade, it was exciting to have a new option available to me. It wasn't like I never was like, oh, I'm never going to use that. It was always, oh, I could see how this will work and maybe I'll use it. And sometimes, I'd try it and I'd bounce off of it. And sometimes it would be, hey, this is actually good. So that's a very exciting thing where it really does feel like pretty much everything you unlock contributes to a potential build. Yeah, I would absolutely recommend this to like pretty much everybody. It plays real smooth. I played it on PS5, but I did try the Switch 2 version, and I also tried the Switch 2 demo, and I tried it on PC, the demo on there. And like my computer isn't like super high end, but it still ran really well on my PC. I had to just like turn some things down a little bit, but it still looked fine, and it ran great, played great. I think it's one of those, like, I'm not going to say it's like going to knock you completely on your ass, but for sure this is going to be one of those, like Capcom games that people are going to look back on over the years and remember how strong it was and, bring it up over and over again over time because of, just how good an impression it leaves.
The thing that I think really struck me about it was I think it's a really good example of how you can leverage modern graphics. Not graphics might even be the wrong word, but like the way that you can present visual information and do so many things all at once. So to go back to Star Fox, right? We're talking about a game that looks better, but ultimately what we're going to get is particle effects for the sake of flavor rather than actual meaningful injection into what that game is.
Right.
And something like I always point to Returnal being one of the only games I played this generation that made me go, oh, wow, we're in the future, right? Of like when that was like a launch PS5 title, basically. And it has like this thing where when you shoot a gun, it does a bunch of particle effects, but those particle effects bounce off of walls and hurt things. Like,
yeah,
you're creating those things that would just be, you know, little flourishes and they're actually doing something. And it's like, but it's so, it doesn't feel like a mechanical separation. It feels like, oh, this is the continuous nature of the game. Like I'm doing all of this. It doesn't feel like I'm stopping to do that, which is something that happens in older games. And Pragmata feels like this because not only are you able to bring up that hacking UI while you're shooting and doing all this other stuff, right? And it looks like great while you're doing it. You also have all of these robots opening themselves up, showing all their interior parts and looking crazy and cool sci-fi style. Yes. And that's engaging in the gameplay because those are their weak points that you aim for and do things on. You know, like you have this thing that looks really good and it looks really good in service of what that gameplay is.
Yeah, like especially as you go, you know, there will be, you know, you'll just be fighting more and more enemies and you'll also get more abilities that can, you know, activate the weak points and all that. So it's like everything is in service of the gameplay where depending on what abilities you use, different colors will activate or they'll open up in different ways
down, like,
and you can just tell from a glance. Like it's not something that you have to like sit there and watch the enemy move around a little bit before you're like, oh, okay, now it's like stunned or whatever. It's like, no, they did a very good job of changing each enemy's movement, and there's a bunch of different enemies too, so it's just like you get to know all of their patterns. You get to know what they look like when the different status effects are put onto them, and it all just contributes to you being able to just super quick do those hacks. Like it's something like they thread the needle so perfectly. Like it is something that if they did it just a bit less perfectly, I mean, like I know me saying like less perfect, but you know what I mean. If it was just not so finely tuned, it would be a complete disaster. It would be so frustrating to interact with, but they did it just right and made it so you can balance those two things of hacking and shooting without it feeling overwhelming. They nailed it, and it is like I'm so happy that they were able to do something like that for sure.
It's great to see, and it's like it's nice seeing, you know, this is trite. Everyone's heard them say this, but it is nice to see them experimenting and trying things like this and Kunitsugami in recent times of just like not just relying on like, hey, this is going to be, I don't know, fucking like this is Lost Planet 4 or something, you know, like I don't know, like they thought about it. They did their own thing. Like maybe we end up with Pragmata 3 and we're like, all right, come on, we get it. But like as of right now, it's like, yes, cool. This is the type of experiment we want. This is how you end up with things like Onimusha, which are basically adaptations of other games that you've been making in your retinue that are distinctly different and interesting and people latch on to. It's really cool.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, you know, I'm not going to be like, oh, I need Pragmata 2 real soon, but you know, I would love to see how they iterate on this. And I mean, honestly, if they end up not, this is still like such a nice, memorable thing that like I'm happy with this just existing for now. You know, like too. I'm. This is gonna be. I can feel this being one of those games where I don't know if it's gonna be like one of like Spyro or RE4 where I replay it every year, but it's going to be close to that. I will revisit this game just to play through it again, just to have that experience, because it feels
like a fantastic example of that sort of like a modern version of something like Kudelka, for lack of a better description, where it is this game that is, you know, fairly high budgeted for what it is, but it is kind of like maybe it will be left behind in the mainstream thought process in like 10 years or something, but people will call back to it as one of those examples of look how cool this was. This is neat.
Yeah.
Also, as someone who has played, I think literally every Capcom game that has come out for like the last like whatever 10 years other than Street Fighter, fucking oh my god, whenever they do normal colors and it's not the washed out shit, I'm like, yes, color grading, it matters, please.
Yeah.
Because I quite enjoy RE9, but RE9, especially later in the game, I think mainly later in the game, has this thing of just being super washed out. And it's like, all right, come on.
I get why it is. But
yeah,
also...
but still. But then it's like, oh, this looks the same as Monster Hunter Wild, right? And it's like, okay, come on now. Devil May Cry 5. I love Devil May Cry 5, but
it's a very dark game, for sure, which is a bummer. But yeah, tell me how you're feeling about RE9, because you platinumed it.
I platinumed it. I had a lot of fun doing it, but I did do it in the worst way possible.
Okay, go on.
So there are 3 main playthroughs they want you to do in Resident Evil 9, I would say, from a design standpoint. They want you to do the normal playthrough, where you just do whatever. They want you to do a speed run playthrough, where you finish the game in under 3 hours, I believe. 4 hours? 4 hours. And then they have the insanity difficulty, which is super hard. And their intended method of play, I believe, is they want you to do it in the order I said.
Right.
However, well, let me say why. Because there are challenges, as every Resident Evil game has had since, God, RE4 original? RE2? I think RE2.
I think it's 2, because there are like there's the stuff
the
like in Mercenaries and all that,
and
like infinite ammo, the infinite rocket launcher, and all that.
They have that in this. So their thinking is you get a bunch of points from speed running the game or doing all the other achievements and stuff like that, and then you buy things like infinite knife durability or infinite hatchet durability, infinite ammo, rocket launchers, etc. And then you go into insanity. And you use all of those things to fight super hard stuff in a fun and fast way.
Right.
I didn't do that. Instead, I did the Insanity playthrough second, with none of the upgrades unlocked. So there is scarcer ammo. There is every enemy turns into their second evolved form almost instantly every time you kill them. And all the boss fights are much more intensive with way more health.
Oh boy.
So, I had quite a time going through all that. I died a lot of times, because it still also has the rules of the standard classic mode, where it's like, hey, you need to use your ink ribbons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had quite a time, especially because I play these games killing everything that I see. And it was really challenging, but it was still pretty fun, even though it was really annoying. It does mean that if you looked at any of my perfect, like whatever, attempt 25 at fighting the boss fight or whatever, I look like some sort of gamer god, because I have mastered every pattern perfectly, and I'm like utilizing Windows to resharpen my hatchet that's supposed to be infinite durability, so I don't have to sharpen it, so they can keep doing the attacks that you're supposed to parry or whatever. In between, it was a mess, but it kind of made me feel like I was really good at gaming. Because it was like there is a fight. I assume you're not at the end of that game.
No,
where
I'm
you
not.
Fight. Okay, there's a fight where you do kind of hatchet versus hatchet.
Ooh.
And that fight, you basically just use the hatchet and do a bunch of parries to open up windows.
Sure.
Because of the way Insanity difficulty works, it was literally like, you block one chain of his attack, your hatchet is fucking broken. Even at max upgrade and everything. So it was just like this thing of like figuring out how to like get those hits in and then running the fuck away around the geometry, making sure that like, okay, this is the amount of time it will take him to walk all the way over here, sharpen, and just like doing this like perfect nightmare when I go in and look up any other playthrough on YouTube and it's like, I use the rocket launcher and shoot him. It's like, fuck, I'm stupid. I do this a lot in games is the thing also. Cause like, two things that I'll always reference is Armored Core 6. I didn't know you could lock on the entire game. And then I got to the end boss and I was like, how can you aim? How do you aim at this thing that's just going behind you? And then I like found out about lock on and was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And I fought Leviathan in Final Fantasy VII Remake 20 levels earlier than you're supposed to, because it unlocks super early, because they're just like supposed to be like, hey, here's a challenge for you to do later. And I was just going insane because every guide was like, use thunder and it just knocks him out of the sky and you just kill him really easy. And I'm just like using thunder and it does 5 damage. And I'm like, okay.
Like, what are you saying to me right now?
Yeah.
You want to run that by me again?
And I just pushed through and eventually got Leviathan super early in that game.
There you go.
But I was just like, damn, that was hard. I must be bad at the game. It's like, no, actually, you're really good at the game. I'm just stubborn, I guess. I guess that's the thing is, and I think that's why I've never run into issues with Dark Souls difficulty and stuff, is I'm very stubborn. I'll just be like, oh, it's fine. There must not be a reason why there must be a reason why they're not stopping me, Very silly. But I did like RE9. I think it's super obvious with some of the interviews that have come out that they cut a huge part out of that game. You'll see what I mean when you get to the very end.
I kind of have a feeling already. Like, I don't know exactly what you mean, but there's just like a part of it that feels like, I don't know. It feels like they're building up to something that maybe they're not going to fully act on, but
the main thing I would say is that they start delivering on something that is not part of their building up. That is very like, oh, this feels out of nowhere and disconnected from things, but I get why it would happen in the broader sense.
Okay.
Which is a similar issue I had to Final Fantasy XIV recently, which is another, that recent expansion had this whole thing where it's clear it went through some sort of development crisis halfway through of like, we need to change what it's about. So then you have these weird vestiges everywhere and like answers to things that weren't there in the actual thing that you played.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I do enjoy all the remakes for Resident Evil, I do think that they're maybe at this weird point where it's like, because of the remakes, I almost feel like they're a little worried about where they're going with the story, because it's like they're changing things in the past and now they're going to kind of be like, well, we have to make it match up in the new games. So it feels really awkward. It feels like they're playing catch up with the past entries, because they're like amending things like as they're going. It's like they're building track behind them and in front of them at the same time, and it's a very odd way to make video games.
Well, you'll also see that they reference Resident Evil 6 as being canonical with events here, so
that's insane. That's fucking insane. I still haven't played that one, so okay. Great. God, yeah, because like I keep hearing all the rumors and stuff about all the other things that they're gonna do, all the remakes they're doing, and they're doing the games that quote unquote need the remakes the most. It's like they're supposedly doing Zero and Code Veronica, and that stuff is like appealing to me. And the one that I think is crazy, but also I kind of respect in a fucking insane way, is that they're supposedly remaking RE1 again, which, like, we just talked about how they've been remaking Star Fox 64 a bunch and all that, but like at this point it's like the original RE1 remake is this like perfect remake, and then if they're going to remake it again, at the very least I know that they're going to make it in the style of like the 2 and 3 remakes, so it's going to be different. So I can kind of respect that, where it's just like, yeah, you're just going to kind of apply the new aspects to it. So if people want that kind of gameplay, but want to experience that story, there you go. But they've also been keeping the originals in rotation, so I still just can't get too mad about it, because yeah, like, they have like those GOG ports of those original games, and they have all this, and they've released the remake as well. I can't get too upset about it. I just think it's really funny, again, that it feels like that they're having to like quickly be like, okay, so what did we make Jill do in the remake? Okay, we got to make sure that in the sequel it matches up now, because it's very funny. It's very, very funny in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, And also I am also less upset about the remakes and stuff because they are continuing to just make new entries as well. Like part of that like rumor too is them saying, oh yeah, they're also gonna do RE10. Like they're not just gonna keep remaking stuff forever. They're also gonna have new entries as well. So it's like, okay, whatever. But I've been playing Resident Evil 4, the original, because I got the urge to replay that because again I replay it every year, but I remember that I had never beaten that game on professional because I always treated RE4 as like a comfort game, and so whenever I would do my run I would just do a new game plus, have all my full powered weapons and just run through it and have fun. But then I went, you know what, I've never done it on professional. I want to play through it. I want to challenge myself. And so far, I am almost done. I am on the I'm on the Krauser boss fight, and it is really hard.
Yeah,
and it's like what, like that, and then I think there's like a few more rooms, and then Sadler, and then you're done. So like I'm like right at the end, but it's really hard. It's really hard. So I've I haven't been stuck on it for ages, but I basically hit a point where I was like, okay, I need to do a few attempts and then stop because I can feel like my blood pressure going up. So I need to not do this to myself. I need to just try it and then stop trying it once I'm not mad, once I've been through enough. I'm sure I'll get through it, but yeah, just incredible game, incredibly designed experience. And I mean, there's other stuff that I want to play through. I've been reading a little bit of Witch on the Holy Night every night recently, which is really nice. So I was smart, and last time I tried to play it, I took detailed notes on everything. And so I just went back and read those notes and then hopped back in, and I understood everything, and I felt like I wasn't missing anything. So I was like, okay, good. That was smart of me to do. And so I think I'm on like chapter 6 now, which is about halfway through. I think there's like 13 chapters. So I'm on chapter 6 now. And that whole game is... There's a lot of bits in that story that are just... What if someone did the coolest shit ever?
That's Natsu, baby.
And every time it is the coolest shit in the world. It's so good. Like, I don't know. I don't want to spoil things, but Alco just fires a beam multiple times, and it's the hypest shit in the world, dog. And it's like, this is happening halfway through the fucking story.
Again, you're like, if you're someone who knows who Alco is, you're like, well, damn, she don't got red hair. And it's like,
shit's going down.
Gotta get
shit's
there.
going down. Yeah, I will.
I have plans to force Lily to play it with me as part of a pseudo book club style thing.
I mean, I think, knowing Lily as long as I have, I think she would enjoy Nasu stuff for sure.
I think so too. Yeah. I think this one specifically will be a nice intro piece because I don't think it has, like, I love Fate's Stay Night more than God. You know this, but it is challenging at times to get people into it as a work specifically. Whereas I think Mihoyo, it's like you don't really need to know much about that world. They kind of explain it all straightforward. It's supposed to be this sort of like outsider to insider view, and like if you know the stuff, you get extra little like, hey, yeah, this is like that, but it's not like required. So I think it'll be good. Yeah,
I mean, I think it also helps a lot that Shojiro is such a perfect like main dude for this story, because
he really is.
It is such a good bit for your guy to be such a like country bumpkin that he shows up and he sees people doing magecraft, and instead of being like, oh shit, there's witches, he's just like, this is just must be what city to live in's like.
The big city's crazy place. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be a part of this, but also, it's what it is.
I gotta get to work.
Yeah, like there's multiple times where he's just like, I need to go to my job. I don't like, y'all just need to let me go to work. It's really
he's
good.
So awesome. I just finished. They just ran that MiHoYo event in Fate Go, right? That's the had all the story stuff. That's like a pseudo sequel to it.
Okay.
And then it has a bunch of jokes about fake So like there was this. If you read the descriptions for all of the characters, because they have Alice, Sojiro, and Aoko, they all have like joke references to fake sequels to MiHoYo that have occurred between Fate Go and MiHoYo 1 or whatever. And I got a real kick out of all of them.
That's pretty good.
Like Sojiro's Noble Phantasm is just something that isn't real, that he doesn't do ever.
Yeah, they're just like he must have picked this up in one of the sequels.
Yeah, and it's just like, but it's like he punches someone and disintegrates, and it's like, what? What is that?
No,
it's like,
yeah, like
it's called the day he did X, and I'm like, what do you?
I mean, I've seen like his rank up thing or whatever, and he's like ripped to shit.
Yeah,
it's like, why? What happened? Why is he so ripped?
And when you level him up, he's like, this is the most dangerous job I've taken since protecting that princess, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's really a good bit. It's a really good bit.
It's a good bit. Like everything that I have seen in MiHoYo so far has either been this is the tightest shit or this is a really good bit. Like those are the two things that happen in that story, and they're all really good.
I don't know if you seen. I think you might have to beat the game for it. I don't actually know, or it might have been one of the later scenarios. It's just one of the side scenario things. Is like the curse that if you laugh.
I haven't seen that.
Okay. That is like my favorite part of the game. It has like the ultimate of like, oh, this is the new era of Nasu presentation in terms of VN, and like he's crushing it to make the funniest fucking joke ever.
Yeah, which is again also why, like, okay, I'm good. By the time you hear this, I will have an article up about this sort of stuff where I talk about like nostalgia and revisiting things, and it's where I feel like these remakes and stuff are worth a damn because it's not just retreading it, it is using modern sensibilities to enhance the story or to add to it or to, you know, bring more eyes onto it by, you know, just doing something different and not just retreading over and over again. Like that is those are the like remakes and remasters and stuff that I do respect a lot more. And so, you know, like being like, oh hey, we have all these new interactions using the visual novel medium to tell goofy ass stories. It's like, yeah, that's what I want. Good, thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna finish that, and then I mean I do already have Tsukihime, so I might hop over to that, or maybe I'll try Fata Morgana again, or what other ones do I have? Because I mean I have a few VNs on the back burner on the Switch.
Is basically the sequel to MiHoYo, if you think about it.
It basically is, but you know, I don't want to overdo it, as it were. Yeah. I'm also really curious about Digimon Survive. I want to try that.
I mean, people seem to like the narrative of it, if not the gameplay itself, is what I've heard. So, and
from what I've heard, the gameplay is pretty minimal. So I think it'll be okay.
It's like Utaware Ramono.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff that I could go back to. So, but I think that would be nice to just kind of have VN hour before I go to bed every night. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm doing it.
That's literally what I do until I reach a point in the VN where I'm like, oh, I want to read more, and then I just do a thing. Like I always say, like with Fata Morgana, I had an hour set aside every night for like 2 weeks. That was like, all right, I'll read one thing, and then by the time I got halfway through week 2, I just finished the entire rest of the game in a day because I was like, oh, I just want to read. Yeah, it's a good strategy. It works pretty well for most things, honestly.
No, I mean, there's that video that was going around, and it inspired me to do this for sure. Was that video of I'm gonna have to pull up this person. I do not know his name off the top of my head, but here we go. 8-bit joystick on YouTube. He was just like, hey, just pick like whatever formats you have things in, you know, like movies or books or games or whatever, and then pick 3 of them and then set all of those aside. So it's like 3 movies, 3 games, 3 books, etc., and set those aside and have those be the things that you choose from when you're having downtime, and then also like explicitly say this is my like 2 hours of downtime, and
that's
put your phone
basically
somewhere
what I
else,
do.
and then there you go, and then you can get through more stuff. It's like
What I started doing in because I've always been the rental fucker who loves renting games. What I would always do is I would be like, okay, I have an action game, I have a turn-based game, and then I maybe have like a reading game or a free game that goes in that extra third slot that's fucking around, kind of. Like
like he also specifically said, like, because he like his, from what I saw, his tastes were pretty similar to like myself and some other folks. He was just like, I have like a ton of RPGs and stuff, but he was like, it's really important that one of those games needs to be something like arcadey or something, or so that way you're not overwhelmed. Like if you just have 3 RPGs, you're gonna hit a point where you're just gonna be like, I'm not in the mood to play a long RPG tonight, and then you're never gonna get through your games. It's like, that makes sense.
And also just breaking up the fatigue of the format, because otherwise anyone will get sick of something. It's why I'm always telling people, like, don't play every Trails game in 1 year. Hey, friend, if you're listening to this podcast, my friend Eric, do not play that 10th Trails game in 1 year.
Don't die, please. Stop. Oh my
God. But yeah, I always do that. Like right now I'm kind of staying true to that literally right now, because I want to play Saros, which I have set up and everything. But I'm like, but I'm currently playing like these 2 games on my Steam Deck and this one on the PlayStation right now. So I should probably finish Pragmata before I start that sort of thing of like, but it's like, it's a good format though, broadly.
Yes,
like,
it is.
It really is how I get through a lot of stuff.
Like right now I have, I have Witch and the Holy Night over there, and then I took out Persona 3 Reload, and I played a little bit of it. I'll probably get back to it eventually, but then I started playing Resident Evil, and I was like, I'm going to swap to Resident Evil 4 because I'm enjoying that. And then I also have Retro Game Challenge on the DS, like the Game Center CX game. We're just talking about Arino. I played that a little bit. This is like my arcadey thing, and it's really good. It's really, really fun. And I'm, getting through it when that could have been something on the back burner for a really long time. And then, like for movies and shows and stuff, it's like, I should probably have like 2 movies and a show, because it's like I had True Stories, which again, my article will be out by the time you hear this. And then I have like Digimon and Twin Peaks, and it's like I should probably finish Digimon and do Twin Peaks once I'm done with that, and maybe just have 2 movies, because 2 shows at once is probably not a great idea, just to swap between those things over and over.
Yeah, I've been having trouble keeping track of anime stuff, just because it's like, that I used to live in a scenario where I was watching a lot of anime all the time. But that is very much not the case now necessarily. And it's like me trying to bridge this thing of like, okay, I don't know. I don't know how to watch more than like 2 shows at once. This is, I have to like basically structure them as social events to get them through or whatever. Like I'm showing Robin Another Girlfriend ReZero right now. I'm going to show Ari my Bookworm anime whenever after we watch Frieren.
Yeah.
Watch Jack of All Trades, Party of None with everyone, of course.
Whatever you got to do to have it work, there's no problem with that. But hopefully by next week I'll be done with the professional run. I mean, what I was gonna say though is I was thinking about playing through RE4 remake after that, and I know we were just talking about don't overdo the same thing, but like I think playing both of those back to back would be cool, just to get a good feel for it, because again, like I really like I fucking love original Resident Evil 4, one of my favorite games, but like I also really love the remake, and I love it for very, very different reasons.
I think it would make for an interesting critical experiment almost of playing them back to back, just to see, because it's like I was talking to Lily's wife recently about because she just played through all of RE4 remake, and she was talking about her issues with it, even though she really liked it still in some ways or whatever compared to the original. And I just think that those are 2 games that are both good, but they have very weird different ideas of what they're trying to accomplish in certain ways.
For sure. I mean, like there's like I was just talking about the Krauser fight, and like so much of that game
Oh god, that fight in remake is like crazy.
it's crazy, but also like just so much of original Resident Evil 4 is structured around how you move, and it definitely feels like the Krauser fight is not like, and that's kind of interesting, but it's also like, dude, this guy's moving like a fucking 3D action character, and I'm still doing tank controls, and it's like it feels cool when you're able to get one over on him, but it's also like, dog, I need to do enough damage to this guy, and I'm having to use the friggin' sniper rifle, and it takes like a good like 3 seconds for me to pull up the sniper rifle and get a shot off, and like, again, I get it, that's how it's supposed to be, but also, please. But yeah, you played more than I did.
Yeah.
Hit me up. Tell me how Marathon's been treating you. You've been a real marathon head.
It's bad. It's dangerous. Because I really like it. Yeah. So I'm like level 112 or something on that.
That sounds crazy, but is there a way to how can you? Is that very high level? Are you going crazy mode? Okay.
I would say most of the people. So the girlfriend I play the most with, that I forced to play the most with me, okay?
Okay.
She's level 60.
Okay. So what do you do in this game? So I know the general concept of Marathon. It's an extraction shooter. You're going out there to, pick up items, and you're doing missions for the different factions, and you're getting, better gear by finding it out there or getting it off of people that you're killing, et cetera, et cetera. What are you doing that has gotten you to this level? Like, are you just doing a ton of contracts?
I'm just playing a lot, and I'm killing a lot, because the XP is entirely kill oriented.
Okay.
So, and that's not just like players, that's also like the AI robots or whatever also.
Got it.
So it's like, I'm just killing a lot of robots and I'm killing a lot of people.
Okay. You're in combat a lot, and you're coming out on top a lot. That is what it is. Okay.
And it's not like always. I lose plenty. I lose a lot. That's just the nature of the game, because it's a very ambush focused game.
But like, it's just like a law of averages thing where you're just playing so much, you're getting a lot done, kind of, right?
Yeah. Like, even if because I could just play a game where I kill 6 people and still die and lose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's still a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I've basically just really enjoyed the format of it more than anything. I think I've sort of narrowed down exactly what it is I like about Marathon, which is that compared to something like Destiny 2, which I thought the PvP was quite bad, because that game has 7 million guns, and every gun you bring in Destiny 2, it's like, oh, they have the raid gun, then they kill everyone, and that doesn't really happen in this. Like, there's nothing that's that bad in this one. And there's a set amount of guns, like a Halo game, and the maps specifically are like 5 Halo maps stitched together into one continuous map. Okay. So you have these places where you learn the ins and outs and exactly where to go. And sometimes like minute details might be different, like where the loot stuff is always different, where the like events occur is randomized and stuff like that. But these are fundamentally the same places all the time. So once you know them, like a Halo map. So it creates this really fun vibe as you get further and further in and gain more map awareness of like, oh, I could just go in this fucked up little hidey hole that no one knows exists because it sort of blends in with the wall. And then like, I can just jump out and get someone, which is really fun. Or like, oh, I know where a good sniping location that not a lot of people would look for is, because I have run around this map 700 times and I have seen exactly like what is here, who has gotten me, like maybe someone else got me from that spot and I went, oh, that spot, or something like that. And it's like, it's capturing that Halo vibe in a more Apex Legends style of game experience, but it's not having the problem of Apex Legends, which the problem of Apex Legends is that the maps are huge. These are much more contained, denser maps. Especially when you get to, so the last time I was on, I couldn't really talk about the Cryo Archive that much. I think me and Lily had done one run of it. I've done like probably like 15 or so runs now of the Cryo Archive, and I finished one of so the Cryo Archive is like the end game thing they want you to do. It's on the Marathon instead of the planet.
Ooh.
And it is designed like a level for Marathon. So it is a lot of hallways.
Huh.
It is like stacking on top of each other. It's weird doors. It's weird getting keys to open doors and doing all this other stuff and then solving puzzles in like certain
That's really
areas.
cool.
Yeah. There's a ton of robots everywhere because it's like a level for marathon. So it's like there's way more AI enemies to deal with. And I've really enjoyed it because it's really hard, especially when you run into PvP people, because obviously they're going to be kitted out, super strong people who are going into this hardcore thing where you sort of need an X amount of money to go in. But if you succeed, you're getting an obscene amount of wealth from that. Like
Of course.
you're beating people who have a bunch of stuff, and you're finding things in that place that are very valuable. So the core loop of Marathon is this idea of, hey, you're building up wealth and resources during the week of play, and then you go into the cryo archive and kind of spend it to some extent, is their thinking. Because the cryo archive is only open from Thursday to Sunday morning, which is a weird thing that I don't know if I fully agree with, even though it makes this sort of design make sense. Just because, and that's mainly because I want to be in there all the time and get lore entries. But it's this really cool experience of, it's like, it really captures and completes the vibe they're going for in this game of the cyberpunk experience where you're investigating this dead colony of like, it's like, hey, when you're on the dead colony, you're finding all this weird stuff. You're finding gestures at things. You go into the cryo archives and it's like, oh, I know what the fuck they were doing down there because now I'm on the fucking ship. So I know exactly what the fuck they were doing down there. And oh, now I'm seeing an alien. Like, there aren't aliens on the planet, but I found an alien on this fucking ship because it's Marathon. And it's just like, there are gestures at Durandal, right? The character from Marathon, the AI, in all of the things you can get at that are like, oh, I can sort of get it. But when you get onto the ship, they're all like, hey, yeah, you know who Durandal is. You're on the fucking Marathon, okay? Like, we're talking about Durandal now, like, directly. And we're having audio logs from him. We're having, like, logs from his dad, who's talking about making him. The one I posted yesterday, I was quite a fan of, where it's the diary of his father, the scientist who created Durandal, the AI. And he's basically going like, yeah, Durandal's my great experience at making like a rampant AI, an AI that's sort of like lost its mind or whatever, to recreate humanity in AI form or whatever. And it's like, and he's writing bad poetry now, which sucks so bad. And I'm really embarrassed reading it, but also isn't that awesome? He's making bad poetry. Like, this is so fucking cool. And I just love like, and just like I deleted Durandal's poetry to spare him the embarrassment, and he got really upset and hasn't talked to me in 3 days. And it's just like,
That's fun.
I love this. It's so much fun stuff, and especially when it's an audio log, so you get to hear like either a conversation or a narration. It works really well compared to something like Destiny 2, where it's like, I love Dark Souls, but I hate the Dark Souls itemization stuff of like, wow, yep, it's. In Dark Souls 1, it's cool that you found the lost artifact of the old civilization and you can read about it and piece together things. When you get to Dark Souls 5, it's a little less interesting when nothing else is going on in the world, you know? So it's like Destiny was kind of feeding into that level of like, here's a lore card where they talk about a guy that existed, or like maybe a quote from some fictitious figure. Whereas this is like, no, you're seeing like logs, like you are seeing recorded conversations or like manifests of an expedition and stuff like that are written down for like businesses and stuff like that. And the way that like they do things like have annotations from the people who are like either receiving this information or giving it to you is really cool. Like there was this whole thing where they were talking, so there's one of the factions is Maida, which was an evil faction in the base game but has now been repurposed by an anarchist organization in because it's like the future times or whatever. And they're giving you a bunch of stuff that's like annotated reports from the fascist like army faction. That's like them annotating going like, hey, look up the Martian cough if you get a chance or something like that. So you know exactly like what bullshit they have pulled before or whatever when they're talking about this. Like, hey, look up like issues in this settlement on Saturn if you want to fucking really learn exactly what their ideology is and stuff like that. I really like that. It's really smart. But yeah, I just really like Marathon. I'm glad that it's probably stably fine, because I know like a bunch of people have been like, oh, they're gonna shut it down tomorrow, or whatever, all the time.
Yeah.
Ever since Concord happened, but I assume it's probably pretty fine. The changes they've been making are pretty crazy. Also, they've been pretty reactive, I should say, rather. to a bunch of stuff, and a lot of it's good. Like, let me describe a cycle of events. So snipers were very strong, which they usually are in games like these, because they had thermal scopes that let people just see the outlines of people through everything. So it was super easy for someone to just set up on the highest point on a map and just sort of aim around and see people walking and just shoot them to death. So they nerfed thermal scopes pretty fast and made them harder to get. So that became less of a problem. Like, it's still a problem you could contend with, but it's not one that's omnipresent because it was so easy to get. Then machine guns were too strong. So they just made it so that, hey, machine guns have shorter range now. We're doing that now immediately. And people were like, okay, well, since you took away those, then we're going to go to an all shotgun meta. And then they're like, okay, we're nerfing the shotgun. Like, we've changed the shotgun in some way to make it so that you're not only using it, even if it's still very, very strong. And then it's like, hey, because you nerfed the shotgun, now everyone's just bringing 1,000 grenades in their inventory and throwing it at people. And it's like, okay, you could only carry one of each grenade now. You know, like stuff like this. Like, they're making very sweeping balance changes that I'm sure they will continue to tweak and adjust. Like, they have changed how the shotgun works very back and forth over the past few weeks. But it's interesting to see a game that is so willing to change things based on what it seems like the average player is genuinely experiencing versus what the streamer said is the problem.
Yes, that is very important. Like, yeah, there's a big difference between, okay, yeah, this is actually a problem versus, hey, this one guy keeps complaining about it, and because he's a big streamer, a bunch of people are going to parrot it because they saw him complain about it.
Yeah, because it's like the average streamer will get killed by a gun and be like, they got to nerf that gun. Like, immediately, right? Whereas, like, if you have, like, stable data, like, it seems like they have a lot of data that's just like, hey, like, this gun is killing more people than any gun ever. And they're like, okay,
right,
well, that's a problem then. Right. But they've done a lot of nice changes too. Like, they've changed how visually things look so they're more distinctive. They've made it so that, like, I think we're in the last month of the first season, right? Or something. I think there's literally like 2.5 weeks left of this current season where they will then change all the story stuff around and add a new map and stuff. And, I'm really curious to see how that reset goes and how I feel about it. But the thing that I do like is that they made everyone's base level of what you have when you go into a mission for free, basically, higher. So you start with like shields and stuff like that. And I think that's really interesting for like near the end of the season to try to match the power level of everyone in a game like this, an extraction shooter where people are accumulating resources and getting access to stronger and stronger stuff as a base level. How do you get newer players to not feel like they're completely fucked? And it's like, oh, you just raise their base level near the end of the season when everyone's strong. Interesting. But yeah, I'm hooked. I can't stop playing. It's a problem. Maybe I should probably be doing other stuff. Like, I want to get back to Crimson Desert at some point, which is another game they keep updating really fast. But I am just like, every time I'm just like, oh, but what if I did another run of Marathon and I had fun? It's a problem, but it's really cool. I really enjoy it. It's been so long since I had a game like this. Like, Apex is the last one I had that was like this. And even that was not a game I would play alone. Whereas this game has a lot of ways you can play alone. That are like,
they like very specifically have the, like, it's like the Rook, right?
Yeah.
That's the solo run thing.
Yeah, and you just go into a match late, basically, and you try to... It's basically a whole different game, really.
It's such a good idea. It is such a good idea.
It's so smart. I just find myself doing that when I have some free time or whatever. Just like I've even been doing the remote play on my Steam Deck and just doing like, I'll just do like a couple Rook runs, maybe get a little money, put it in my bank or something. It's just like, it's such a good idea. And I've been enjoying it. I'm really curious to see how the season reset goes. I think my only major complaint is that I play on the PlayStation, so I don't have any issues, but everyone I know who plays on PC outside of one person has had insane technical issues randomly all the time. Like Lily has run into a lot of technical issues with it that we've had to figure out and things, and we don't know what the issues are, blah, 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 but hopefully they figure those out because they're constantly changing their matchmaking algorithms and everything. So I don't know. We'll see. But for now, I'm like, yes, this is my fucking game. I believe in Bungie's soul again.
That's good. That's really good. I'm happy to hear that. All right. Let's hit your other stuff real quick because we do have some questions.
Lightning
please.
fast.
Yes, please.
All right. Vampire Crawlers came out. I don't know if we've talked about it on this podcast because I've been kind of out of it. But it's a fun game. I really like the format of it. I like just doing it. The idea of an arcadey dungeon crawler is a fascinating and interesting one, and I think it could be done really well. They should have made the game harder. If they made the game harder, it would be a really good game, but they made it very easy. So you hit this point where everything is just super easy and you win all the time, which is very Vampire Survivors, but Vampire Survivors still challenges you at some points. I don't think this game challenges you enough. I think Punkle should be brave enough to go, hey, I'm going to make a mode that you can turn on that's hard. And then that game would be really cool. I think it's really funny. The two extremes are like, I find Slay the Spire 2 can be very challenging at times, and then Vampire Crawlers is not challenging at all. So there's no middle ground card game for me.
Yeah, I tried the demo for Vampire Crawlers, and I thought it was really fun. But also, yeah, I think I'll get around to it.
It did a thing that the game Ball Pit did, where I like Ball Pit to some extent, but Ball Pit did this thing where they just start letting you bring in multiple characters into a run. And then you're just super powerful unless you're doing like a weird gimmick thing. And in this game, there's not even like a weird gimmick thing really that you do. Every character that you bring into a run is just a straight buff. So you're just bringing in 3 buffs to a run on top of everything else. And it's like, well, okay, how do I lose if I have 3 buffs,
Sure.
And if they had just thought of like maybe some more debuffs or something they can put on you, I think they could have created a good balance. But as is, I'm still playing it, but I am finding a little bit of a lack of momentum just because it's like, yep, I'm going to do the easy challenge in big air quotes, It's not like Balatro, where Balatro has like these weird, tough things you can do. Yeah,
Balatro is real weird because like so often, like I still love that game and I do kind of hop back in on it here and there. But that is definitely a game where, I mean, it's a roguelike thing, it's all up to chance, but there are so many times where it's just like, you just hit a point where you're just fucked for no reason.
Yeah, for no reason. You just got 2 purples in a row or something. Like you didn't have 6 blind refreshes, so fuck
exactly,
you.
Which, that's how it is, and, I'm not like mad about it or anything, but,
Yeah, no, I get you.
What else?
I've also continued to play Pipistrel and the Cursed Yo-Yo, which I mentioned, I think, a little while ago. That is a Metroidvania-style game in the pastiche of a Zelda Game Boy Advance game, specifically Minish Cap, I would say. I recommended this game to you when I was playing it, because I was a quarter of a way through the game, and I was like, John would really like this. And that's not just because when you open the game, it opens a fake-ass 3D GBA and puts a fake cartridge into it of the game, and then lets you at any time press a button to zoom out and rotate a Game Boy model with the game running on it.
That's pretty good, though.
Yeah, I thought you would like that. It is just incredibly of the design sensibilities of a GBA game, which is wonderful, with some of the more modern Metroidvania contrivances. It is silly in the way that those games were on the GBA. It is very silly. It's not going too far. It's engaging with a lot of systems. It has the thing that I love that recent indie games have had, where you can tell they're from our generation of people, John, where they are putting in the spinner from Twilight Princess and shit like that as abilities. A lot of abilities that are reminiscent of other things that are like, oh no, I know this because it's from a game when I was a teenager or whatever, But it's a really great game. It did something. It's basically set up like, hey, there are dungeons, but the world map is basically also a dungeon a la a Zelda game, right? You always find the weird caves where you do a little puzzle and stuff like that. And this is the same way. There are like little side quests and things you can do. The abilities all being yo-yo based, and they're all very well considered, is really fun. Like they do walk the dog, right? Where you shoot out the yo-yo in front of you, but it's like the idea is, oh, you shoot it out and then you follow the yo-yo because your yo-yo's a person who's alive or whatever. So it's like you use that to get over water by just like gliding across it and like stuff like that. Or like, oh, you do kick flips off the wall by bouncing your yo-yo off it. And
that's
like,
cute.
Yeah, you do around the world as an AoE attack. Stuff like that. Like it's really smart. And I've enjoyed all that. But the thing that I've enjoyed the most are 2 systems. One is the upgrade system, which has basically you get passive buffs like badge points from Paper Mario, because you have badges like Paper Mario, which is the second system we'll talk about. You have life and you have attack damage, and you also have like weird buffs that will happen based on certain things you do. You can buff these by taking a temporary debuff that only goes away once you gain a certain amount of money from beating enemies and doing stuff. And it means that for basically the entire game, you're always under some weird sort of debuff, which is really cool. And I think changes the way that you're playing a lot of the time. Because it'll be stuff like, hey, you can't equip as many badges right now or whatever. So you have to like go through the section of the game that you're in without that. Or like, hey, you have to take a huge attack nerf, so maybe you play a little more defensively now. Stuff like that.
Right.
It's this really cool system that I actually like think is interesting because it doesn't create difficulty artificially. It just creates difficulty through the sense of like, hey, do you want this upgrade that will make things better, like passively? Then like, hey, maybe play on hard mode for a little bit. It reminds me of how like the Tales games, which though their gameplay is very hit or miss, but still the concept I love of, hey, in the Tales games, you turn the difficulty up to get some materials for a little bit or whatever. And then like you put the difficulty back down. I love the idea of modular difficulty like that. That's like built into part of the game. It's like a better version of the Dark Souls format almost, where it's like Dark Souls. I love that it gets harder at certain points and you have to think of how to engage with it. But I also love the idea of choosing that in order to gain something. And then the badge system I really like because it just lets you do things like, hey, you know, engaging with that debuff system, say they say there's no more health pickups now, right? You could equip a badge that's like, hey, every like $100 you earn, you get a heart back or something like that. Or like, hey, every like 5th hit of your combo will like make like a stacking thing happen that makes you earn a heart eventually. So you start thinking of like how to build yourself healing wise, which I think is a good way to get around the issue of a lot of builds in games don't work very well. But like here it feels like you're situationally changing it all the time, which is cool.
Okay.
And there was a part I really liked where I have this notorious problem, which is kind of goes hand in hand with my insanity playthrough of Resident Evil 9 earlier. I overthink every puzzle in every video game ever. I think that it is going to be 10 times harder than it is every single time. This game did a thing where there was this insane part where it was like I could exploit like going around the map, and I thought that was just what I'm supposed to do. I like did some insane thing of carrying items to a specific area and then using them to jump across the water when I didn't have the ability to, and like doing this insane thing. And when I finished that and got to this place, there was a badge they called the Cheater's Badge. And they were like, basically worded something along the lines of like, hey, you seem like someone who's going to accidentally exploit the game. What if we give you like this badge that gives you a fun movement mechanic that helps get around this? And I basically have this movement mechanic because of it that like they say like, hey, if you want to play the game the way we intended, like don't put this badge on. But hey, if you think that you're going to be someone who does something like this to get here, then you should probably turn this on. And I really liked that because it just felt like, oh, they're engaging with the idea of the way people are playing this game. Yeah, it's just a really good game. I recommend it to anyone who likes like either those GBA style old games or just Metroidvanias in general, because it's such a refreshing thing to have an isometric Metroidvania. Oh my God.
Cool.
Like
very cool.
And it's so well designed, like the map, everything. It's just, it has a good degree of difficulty. Like I said, you're either taking debuffs or doing other things. Like enemies are all very different. It never feels too easy or brain dead. I wouldn't say the narrative is super compelling, but it's at least like enjoyable, and they're doing funny little bits all the time, and they have cute art and stuff going on. It's fun. It's really fun. And also it's not expensive. I think it's like a $20 game normally. It's always on sale.
Sure. All right. All right, let's wrap this up with some questions. If you want to send in questions, you can send it to us in the replies on Blue Sky. Our Blue Sky account is gamesline.net, or you can send them to, we have an email, which is podcast@gamesline.net, or we also have a thread on our Discord server that is, you just go on there and you can send a question there. I'm sorry, I clicked on our podcast email and it's all just like spam. That's very frustrating. Not necessarily, like people can send in whatever, but I just hate when there's a bunch of spam emails. Fuck that shit.
Free Viagra.
No, it's all like sell us your website, and it's like, no, fuck
please.
Anyway, we got one from Lily. Lily sent in a question that was just, John, what did you most enjoy about your vacation? I It was one of those things where I needed it, but I also didn't really like it to an extent. Like it was like
Mhm.
doing this is cheesy and this is corny, but like Gamesline really is like one of if not the most important thing in my life. So not interacting with it was like it made me feel a little empty. So it was good that I was able to relax a little bit, but I was also like, man, what am I supposed to do? Kind of. But I am a little more rejuvenated. I think I'm ready to go, and also I did still do stuff in that I did that Moonchild interview with Metin7, which yeah, that's still on the site if you want to check that out. Metin was very kind to take some time and answer the questions real quick. Seems like a real chill dude, just the fact that he's just like, yeah, my weird little game blew up, and immediately went from that to posting the like code open source and full on accepting like people of all kinds having fun with Moonchild and everything. Like it's really cute. It's just it's a nice video games industry story where dev team that got screwed over in the past is now able to, celebrate what they did and get recognition they deserve. It's very cute. So, definitely check out that article. It's, like a pretty much a full history of that game and that team, all right there. So I enjoy doing that, but I enjoy that I'm able to come back refreshed. Cello Buster asks, I'm very sleepy. If you were to play a video game with the intention of lulling yourself to sleep, what would it be?
Let me tell you my secret. I'll tell you my secret ever since I got the Steam Deck. Because my old answer was gotcha games. Where I would just read them or do something menial or in them or whatever, right? And I'm not going to pretend that I don't do that still. But well, my main thing that I've been doing for ever since I got the Steam Deck is I play a Vampire Survivors like.
That's not a bad idea.
I will get near the end of one of those runs and I'll be like, I'm tired as fuck. Goodbye.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll like hop on like Switch Online or one of my various emulation devices and mess around with just like a random like arcadey game. Sometimes that will like knock me out.
Did you ever play that Pokemon Odyssey game? I kept meaning to ask you that.
Pokemon Odyssey. That sounds
highly
familiar.
Recommend it if you haven't. It's an Etrian Odyssey ROM hack of Pokemon.
Right. I have not played that yet. That was like on my list, but I wanted to finish Mario Mon first, and then I stopped playing Mario Mon. So
you should just play Odyssey.
Probably.
I know like 5 people who got hooked on it for like over a week. Just playing it nonstop, and I think you would get a kick out of it.
Sure. Yeah, I'll look into it for sure. But yeah, like Pokemon also is something that, is very relaxing, and I can, grind some levels and then drift off to Dreamland. That's, like an RPG is a good answer, I would say, for sure, for me. Crystal asks, what is the most edible physical video game? So I'm guessing this is sort of a question of what like cartridge or disc type looks the tastiest. I mean, the Switch cartridge is the least edible, I suppose.
Yeah. Those colored N64 cartridges are like,
So like the blue Tony Hawk one.
Yeah, or like the yellow Donkey Kong one, or like the gold and silver Stadium 2 one.
Yeah.
That shit looks like it's some sort of delicious pastry they've concocted.
Game Boy Color games are strangely shaped to me.
Yeah. The e-reader?
The e-reader itself.
The e-reader itself looks pretty edible.
Virtual Boy games.
Sure, okay, yeah.
I have to admit something. When I was a kid, you know how in the GBA SP, like the clamshell, it had like the little rubber bits to like cushion it? I chewed the shit out of those.
Yeah, sure.
I chewed the shit out of those. Let's see here. Aspiring Shoulder asks, this is very generic. This isn't a video game question. This is just in general. What do you really want to pulverize with a blender? I could go for a smoothie or something right now.
I made like an avocado cream sauce a while ago. That was pretty good. I could do that again. Ooh. I liked that. It was a nice little like just some yeah. That was nice. That was actually nice. I like that. My answer was going to be more evil of like I wasn't even thinking of like eating something out of a blender. I was like all power tools forever. I'm sick of them.
Sure.
I honestly I'll be the first to say I don't use a blender that much. I don't really have smoothies too much. I don't really make shakes at home because I'm quite bad at it every time I've tried.
Smoothies you can kind of wing.
Yeah, shakes you have to be a little more deliberate. But I just usually use it for sauces or like emulsion for like a curry or something. Like if I'm trying to make a very like, something that is very, carrot ginger soup. That's a good thing you put in a blender.
Ooh, that's
a pretty good one. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. All right, last question is from Izzy, who asks, I recently played a game I could only describe as feeling like a single stale Dorito. Tempting, but deeply dissatisfying. What are your stale Dorito video games?
Her stale Dorito video game is brutal, also.
I think I saw what she said, and she said it was Halo 1, right? Like, she played through Halo 1, and that's what how she felt about it, which, like, I don't know about that. I mean...
The youth of today, that's all I'm saying,
Sure.
They don't know how good they have it.
I played through Halo 1 for the first time semi-recently, and, like, again, a lot of, all the parts that people complained about were a little frustrating, but for the most part, it's a good first-person shooter. It's just a well-made combat arenas and all that. I liked it, so...
The other Halos are, like, significantly better is the only thing I would say against 100%. It, right? It's like... And also, like, knowing Izzy as a person. Izzy has played Marathon, so it might be difficult to play current Bungie versus old Bungie gunplay, right? Which is not something that will be as big of a problem with something like Halo 3 or something.
Of course.
But to answer this question, that is how I feel about every single game that's like fucking Diablo. I will play them and I'll just be like, well, yep. But the number stuff just doesn't do anything for me. It feels like I'm barely playing a video game. It's just like weird automated stuff. And it's like when you do something like Vampire Survivors, I feel like that experience is so limited to the nuance of a run. Whereas a Diablo game doesn't even have a run. It's like, just keep going. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, something like that is just sort of like a grindy kind of run-based thing that doesn't necessarily tickle any kind of particular fancy. I would say that about like some gacha games that I tried and played for a little bit and then fell off.
Yeah.
Like, Enfield probably would fit that bill.
Enfield would fit. Yeah.
I enjoyed it kind of for a while, and then I hit a point where like I turned on my PS5 semi-recently, or it was when I was playing Pragmata, and I saw that I still had Enfield installed on there, and I went, okay, I'm going to just play it, and if I feel like I keep enjoying it, I'll keep it installed, and if not, I'll uninstall it. And I played it for like an hour, and I just went, nah, I'm good. I've got better stuff to do. So that was how I felt there. It's not horrible. It's just fine, but like a stale Dorito. Like
we can do better than fine.
I picked it up and I ate it, and I was like, sure, you know what? That was a Dorito still, and it was fine, but also I could go in the kitchen and make myself a nice sandwich, or I can, order something, or if I just want to have a snack, like I have some nice, like, protein bars, like there's other options here, and I don't have to just eat stale Doritos forever. So that is my answer there for sure. All right, I think we're just about done here. Is there anything that you'd like to go over before we completely wrap up, Rose, or are we all set?
No, I think that's good. I'm hoping that I can once construction is done, my plan is to finally write a marathon review and
sure.
Get some other writing stuff done for the site, because like in my mind's eye dream, I'm like, I'm going to write a Resident Evil review, I'm going to write whatever, I'm going to write a Saros review, all these things, and then I'm like, but right now I just want to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have that article up. I was gonna post it today, but then I just forgot. So that'll be up though. Looking forward to reading all the stuff that you're working on. We're all working, we're all moving. So that is what Gamesline's all about. And you can keep following along with us if you go to our website, gamesline.net, where we have all those posts that you can read. we also have our Blue Sky. If you follow us on there, it's also at gamesline.net on Blue Sky. Tell your friends. Retweet. Repost our stuff. I'm not gonna say reskeet. It's stupid. I will stand by. It's dumb. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not above making jokes about piss and shit and cum, but reskeet is stupid. I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
You can go on Tumblr. We still update our Tumblr sometimes, not all the time, but I don't know. Maybe if we get more interaction on Tumblr, we'll do it again. And then we have our YouTube, youtube.com/@thegamesline. You can listen to our podcast on there if you so choose. It's on there. And twitch.tv/GameslineTV. I don't know when exactly it's going to happen, but I do know that Lily has said that she's planning on doing some streams soon.
Yeah.
We ordered her a Steam controller, and she's going to test that out. Maybe write something up about it, and then also wants to stream it. Like, I explicitly told her, look, I would have gotten it for her anyway, but I told her, we're going to get it for you as long as you play some Ultra Kill with it. I want to see you play Ultra Kill with it. So that's going to happen. She's going to have to play some Ultra Kill on stream with that. And you know what? That was purchased with Patreon money. So if you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/gamesline. And we have gotten some stuff going on there now. Actually, Crystal went on there and like updated some things, and the podcast gets posted on there now, so you can subscribe through there, making it a bit easier to subscribe if you're part of if you're subscribed to the Patreon. Also sharing a monthly writing roundup that will be sent to you via email or via Patreon. So every month you can see all the cool stuff that we posted, like all of our articles. We got stuff that Crystal and I and Lily and also some guest posts posted, and we also got I also posted a review of Sayano Uta on Yatatachi, and that got posted on there too. So you can keep up with all the cool stuff that we're doing all over the web. So that's a good way to do it. Would be on patreon.com/gamesline. And we keep talking about doing the anime podcast, and it'll happen one day. I assure you.
Listen, Maverick and Elvie are New Yorkers, and time is moving faster for them in the most beautiful city on earth.
Mm-hmm. That is true. And you can come hang out with us on Discord. Our Discord is thegamezone.zone. I don't know why I was saying discord.com. Okay, it's just thegamezone.zone. You can go hop on there. You can chat us up. You can argue with us about our game opinions, and then we'll say, no, enough. And that's it. No. We can chat about stuff. It's fine. People are watching anime in there sometimes. Shit's just going down. It's good there. I would recommend, if you want a nice, chill Discord server to just chat with like-minded individuals, you will find a like-minded individual there, I assure you.
Yeah, we have destroyed all enemies.
That is correct.
And we will destroy any other enemies. I promise.
That is correct. And thank you to Melt Channel/Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. And you can buy their music at any time, but I will always, always, always recommend to do it first Friday of every month. That is when Bandcamp Friday is. They get the full cut of the funds. So that is the best time to do it. But do it anytime you choose. It is up to you, but I would recommend that. Rose, where could people find you?
fatamorgana.bsky.social. Over there, I am posting. You know how it is. I will keep meaning to use Tumblr more, but Tumblr's scary as hell to me right now. Every time I open it, I'm scared. Yeah, I'm just over there.
Sure. I am also on the Blue Sky, which is john.gamesline.net. And I'm just looking at what I've been posting. I've just been reposting dumb, goofy shit and art. And I talked about how Orion, the DC character's little doodad that he flies around on, looks stupid, and I stand by that. I think it looks stupid as hell. And everyone was saying that, and by everyone I mean one person said, "You're just jealous." And I said, "No, fuck you. I would just rather have Count Dooku's gay ass bike instead," and I stand by that. But that's it. Okay. Thank you, Rose, for being here, and thank you all for listening. We will be back soon with another episode of the Gamesline podcast. Have a good one.